So this particular session is mainly focused upon quick revision. How we have to make revision notes, and in that revision notes how mind maps will be helpful and how to make the mind maps. So the confidence will be boosted. Of civilization, then the similarities between the culture and civilization, difference. Malaysia as well as in Indonesia, how to make the summary note. So this particular session is mainly focused upon quick revision. How we have to do quick revision, how we have to make revision notes, and in that revision notes how mind maps will be helpful and how to make the mind maps. These all things we will be doing in this particular session. So first, in the rapid revision program, I am coming up the sequence. I will be explaining about the sequence of how I will be doing the revision so that accordingly you can plan your preparation. So with respect to the sequence of rapid revision, I will be starting with paper 1. In paper 1, unit number 2, which is called as in socio-culture anthropology module, unit number 2.1 culture, 2.2 society, 2.3 marriage, 2.4 family, 2.5 kinship, I will be doing first. Why? Because it is little bit easy topic, so the confidence will be boosted. So my main motto will be, initially the confidence should be boosted. So the sequence will be in the paper 1, I will be doing with unit number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then I will go to paper 2. In the paper 2, it will be again unit number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. After this, I will do paper 1 and paper 2 unit 1, which is evolution of man as well as archaeology. Then the next will be paper 1 and paper 2. Together, unit 1 will be there. Then I will go for physical anthropology, and that physical anthropology will be from 1.7, 9, complete 9, 10, 11, 12. In this way, the sequence will be there. So again I am repeating, so I will be starting with socio-culture anthropology. After the socio-culture anthropology, we will be having anthropological thought. Then we will be having Indian society. Then we will be having tribal India. Then we will be having the paper 1 and paper 2 of evolution of man in the world and India and archaeology in the world and India. And the next will be the complete physical anthropology. So how I am going to do? One by one, step by step, I will be explaining. Please be patient. So first, I will start with paper 1, unit number 2. As you know, in unit number 2, we have 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, 2.5, which is very important. So, you know, 2.1 is all about culture, all about society, all about marriage, all about family, and all about kinship. All about kinship. So here, culture, how we will do culture. So now in this particular sessions of the rapid revision program, I am not going to explain a complete subject about culture unit. I will be quickly explaining you how to remember or what are all the definitions we have to use in the culture unit. So in the culture unit, you will be remembering the definition of E.B. Taylor or Malinowski or Ralph Linton or Clifford Geertz definition. Then what are the quick characteristics of culture? Then what is civilization? What is the definition of civilization? Then what are the characteristics of civilization? Then the similarities between the culture and civilization, differences between the culture and civilization, and the relationship between the culture and civilization in a quick manner. So rapidly you will be doing the revision. If you do with me, what will happen? You will be also having the rapid revision. Then ethnocentrism as well as culture relativism together we will be doing. Mainly here comes, last time 2023 there was a question on Osborne, cultural lag. So such a sort of topics will be identified and extra information will be provided to you. Such type of topics will be identified and extra content will be provided in this particular topic of 2.1. Then I will go for society. Then I will be clearly explaining about society definition, characteristics of society, social institution, social group, social stratification. But extra one more topic I will be doing based upon the previous year's question, that is called as total institution. टोटल इंस्टीट्यूशन विल बी डिस्कस्ड इन डिटेल. क्या होता है टोटल इंस्टीट्यूशन? टोटल इंस्टीट्यूशन का क्वेश्चन के लिए हमको क्या लिखना पड़ेगा? इन दैट वे आई विल बी डिस्कसिंग अबाउट द सोसाइटी. देन कमिंग टू द मैरिज टॉपिक, In this marriage topic, I will be giving the definition of marriage and Westermarck definition of marriage, Malnovisky's definition of marriage, and characteristics of marriage, types of marriage, forms of marriage, and after that, how the marriage is getting impacted because of globalization, which is not there in the syllabus, but how the marriage is getting impacted because of globalization, urbanization, and industrialization. And I will be focusing, which is social context, like domestic violence kya hota hai, what are the, I will be linking with law. So domestic violence will be what is live-in relationship, how the live-in relationship or how the live-in relationship is applied with or related with marriage as an institution, what are the Supreme Court judgments with respect to live-in relationship. Not only that, we will be also discussing about adultery topic, we will be also discussing about same-sex marriages, and I will be giving a list of tribal examples. A grand list of tribal examples like Newer society, which is very famous for boy-boy marriages, and Azande, Newer girl-girl marriages. So what are these boy-boy marriages, girl-girl marriages, or buffalo marriages? So they will be getting marriage to the buffalo. So different varieties of examples will be discussed in this particular rapid revision program. And family, if I take about the family, again the family definition and family characteristics, household, domestic group, family, different types of families, and how this family is getting impacted because of industrialization, globalization, and feminist movement. Not only that, what are the factors responsible for downgrade of joint family system, and what is the role of Iravati Karve? What Iravati Karve told with respect to joint family, and if the joint family is getting disintegrated, what will be the consequences on the society in general and Indian society in particular? Contemporary family, single man families are coming up. What is the single person families? In that way, contemporary relevance means my classes will be, my rapid revision program classes will be highly focused on exam. So what we have to, for example, in culture unit, we have to mainly bother about the new developments which happened with respect to culture, society, whereby other than the institutions, what are these total institutions? So new concept with respect to that, marriage, contemporary marriage, family, how the contemporary societies are getting changed. Then kinship, significance of kinship, function of kinship. We will understand consanguineal kinship, we will understand affinal kinship, we will be understanding about kinship terminologies, classificatory and descriptive kinship terminologies, descent kya hota hai, different forms of descent, what are the different varieties of descent, like patrilineal descent, bilateral descent, bilineal descent. So different forms of descent will be studied. With that, the focus will be on complementary filiation, descent. In that way, the practical approach, what type of questions will be asked in the kinship, how we have to write. So for every unit, so this particular session is mainly to empower you how the sessions are going to be, so that very quickly how you can remember. And PYQs, for every topic I will be coming up with the PYQ, and that PYQ I will be applying, so that you will be also understanding for that PYQ this is the content. So in this way, I will be doing the unit number 2, and the next is unit number 3. In this unit number 3, the focus will be on substantivist economy. Substantivist economy for the first time discussed by Malinovisky in the book Argonauts of Western Pacific. And what is this substantivist economy? What is this formalism? What is the meaning, scope of economic anthropology? And what are the principles of distribution, production and exchange in simple societies? And impact of globalization on indigenous economic systems with practical and real examples which are happening around. In this way, we will be doing unit number 3. How? Unit number 3 and unit number 4 is factual unit. So that factual unit, how to remember, I will be giving you some shortcuts also. And unit number 4. In that unit number 4, political organizations, meaning, scope and relevance of political organization, what is power, authority and legitimacy, what are the different forms of law and what are the different forms of social control mechanisms in simple society, peaceful resolutions, violent resolutions, what are peaceful resolutions, what are violent resolutions. See, how I am doing, if you prepare and come, then rapidly we both will be doing. So what will happen, your answers and my questions and my content and your content both will synchronize together. So it will be making impression on your brain, so that it will make you to remember in the examination hall. That is my whole sole intention, so that you should not forget any point in the examination hall. In this way, we will be doing unit number 4 and questions like, what is the difference between the stateless societies and state societies? What is the difference between the stateless societies and state societies? Unit number 5, religion. Religion, mainly we have to focus on current affairs on religion. What are the Karnataka government came up with the anti-superstition law. Kerala government is planning for anti-superstition bill, which is not signed by the governor yet. And 3 people, Narendra Dabolkar, Kal Burgi, were being killed by the fundamentalists who are questioning the religious fundamentalism. Other than that, what is religion? What is a religion definition given by Emil Durkheim as well as Karl Marx? What are the different approaches of religion, like evolutionary approach, functional approach, structural approach, symbolic approach and structural approach? Different approaches of religion. Then magic, religion and science distinguished. Magico-religious practitioners like magician, shaman, medicine man, sorcerer, witches. Mainly current affairs oriented should be there. Mainly current affairs oriented should be there. When we do from the current affairs oriented religion, that will give you marks, that will add you marks. So what are the current affairs which will be there in the religion? For example, Sarnaism. Sarnaism is a religious code of Santals in Jharkhand. They are demanding how there is Muslim separate personal law board. So we also want a law, we also want our own personal law, we also want recognition. So a movement is happening in the Santal community for getting a legal religious code, for demanding for a legal religious code for the Santal religion, which is called as Sarnaism. So if this Sarnaism is a demand, if the government of India come up with uniform civil code, then whether both will be in contrary or not. If uniform civil code is coming up, this uniform civil code, whether it will allow the tribal people to follow their culture, religion, traditions and customs or not. If that is the case, then the tribal people will obviously feel alienated. The tribal people will feel assimilation. Hence, there is a chance that the tribal people might revolt against the government. So whether uniform civil code is the answer or uniform civil code itself is a challenge. We can expect a question, yes, uniform civil code is the answer or a challenge in the context of tribal religions. Mainly in the context of Sarnaism, who are asking for a separate religious code. So in that way, we have to link the current affairs of religion again. And for every whenever there is a religion, the Karl Marx told the religion is the opium of the masses. And different approaches we know. E.B. Taylor told animism is the first form of religion. According to Max Muller, it is the naturism which is the first form of religion. According to Emil Durkheim, totemism is the first form of religion. Robert Marriott, it is animism which is the first form of religion. So for every topic, I will be giving a template. I will give you a ready-made template. One anthropologist name, one tribal example. One anthropologist name, one tribal example. And how to link this anthropologist to the concept. In this way, we will be doing the complete syllabus of anthropology. And the next is the most important, which is unit number 6, anthropological thought. In this unit 6, anthropological thought, so I had made one summary notes, I had made some mind maps. I had made some few of the mind maps and few of the summary notes. Once I will show you, so how it will make your preparation very easy. See here. See, this is the mind maps which I made, which will help you. First of all, anthropological thoughts. I believe it is visible to you. If you see here, anthropological thought. Here in this, we will have classical evolutionism and other topics like historical particularism, diffusionism, functionalism, structural functionalism, culture, personality school, new evolutionism and culture materialism. How to remember, I will be giving you some hints. So in classical evolutionism, main crux, what you have to remember in the examination hall, if the question is direct with respect to what is classical evolutionism or what are the contributions of classical evolutionism. Evolution stage by stage, not spontaneous, which is savagery, barbarism and civilization, which they believed. Everywhere same, everywhere the evolution is same because of psychic unity of mankind. Next, process is same, psychic unity of mankind is same. If there is similar environment, for the similar need, for the similar challenge, the response which is coming up in the form of culture is same. Hence it is called as culture parallels. Culture exists without net benefit. Means what? Culture which was present in the previous, if it is present today also, but without any net benefit, without any advantage, if still I am following it, it is called as culture survival. So for everything, four or five words I made. Culture exists without net benefit. What is that? Culture survival. Racial superiority is a psychological myth. Comparative methods. Classical E.B. Taylor, first stage of religion, animism. Famous book, Primitive Culture. Means E.B. Taylor, his contribution for the British. Then Henry Morgan, discussed evolution in ancient society, book name. Derived concept, social evolution. Famous for kinship terminology, classificatory kinship terminology, descriptive kinship terminology. And is in that field work, he is famous for what? Questionnaire method. He is a person who innovated questionnaire method in the discipline of anthropology. Then famous book, other book, System of Consanguinity and Affinity in Human Families. So Henry Morgan. Then James Fraser. Coming to James Fraser, he is a person who told magic, religion and science, and he told magic can be done in two ways. And he told magic can be done in two ways, which is called as law of similarity and law of contact. His famous book is Golden Bough. Without mentioning the Golden Bough, we cannot complete the answer of James Fraser. And his students are R.C. Brown and Malnovis. In this way, the mind maps will be made and the mind maps will be sent to you. Coming back, if you the same see, look at here. If you look at here, historical particularism given by Franz Boas, American. So what he advocated? He advocated field work. He is the first person who advocated field work, and he did field work in Buffalo Islands. He discussed about what? Protection of languages, conservation of languages. He is a person who documented the Indian languages, means tribal languages of North America. He had collected funds for the conservation of languages. He had collected the funds for conserving the languages. So he is a protector of endangered languages. Yes, field work, endangered languages, Indian languages, tribal languages, documentation. And he very famously told that every culture is because of historical connections, psychological aspects and environmental conditions, in which red color, in which he gave primacy, star mark is there, in which he gave primacy to what? History. History is very important. Any person's culture is mainly because of history. So historical connections, environmental conditions and psychological aspects. He is responsible for the formation of culture. Every culture is because of these three aspects, and in this he gave highest importance to this. Then culture relativism. He is also a person who told culture relativism. What is culture relativism? Culture relativism is against comparative methods. There should not be any comparisons. So he is completely against the comparative methods. He told every culture is unique in its context and every culture is because of its history. Why you people are comparing two cultures? In that way, he is against ethnocentrism. He is against comparative methods and advocated what? Culture relativism. And his students are R.C. Brown, Malnovisky and Margaret Mead. In this way, the complete anthropological thought mind maps will be provided to you, which is already I made a few, but I am still preparing more mind maps. These all mind maps will be provided to those aspirants who are writing mains 2024. We'll go. If you see the most important topic, yes, if you see diffusionism. See, in one particular box, you can see complete diffusionism. So, for example, see diffusionism. In diffusionism, it is British, pan-Egyptologists, these people are. What they will tell, culture evolved in Egypt. And Egypt is the culture center from where it got diffused to different parts of the world. How they came to conclusion. Pagodas of Japan, temples of Aztec civilization. So, Smith, Egyptologist, extreme Egyptologist. Extreme, these three people, see. Smith, Perry, but reverse. He is not extreme Egyptologist. He is very practical. He told multiple centers are there, but Egypt is one dominating center. Double studied which tribals is a part of Torres Strait expedition, very, very famous expedition, is a part of Torres Strait expedition of 1898. As a part of Torres Strait expedition, when he went to Melanesia and Polynesia, in between he stopped at India and studied the total tribal community of Nilgiri Hills of Tamil Nadu. So that also we will mention. And see, advocated, he is a main person who gave the genealogy, this one, diagrams, this genealogical diagrams. This genealogical diagrams is been innovated or brought into the discipline of anthropology by W.H.R. Rivers. Egypt is dominating culture, dominating center, but however, other centers also exist. Hence, he is more practical man. Then we went for diffusionism of America. In America, we have 4 people. GSLV, how to remember. British SPR, Smith Perry Reverse, Sri Prataparudra. Sri Prataparudra is one of the Kakatiya dynasty person who was been attacked or planned by British people. So SPR, Smith Perry and Reverse. Whereas GSLV is a technology we borrowed from Germany. GSLR, Greibner, Schmid, Leofrebinus and Ratzel. In place of vehicle, it is Ratzel, RVR. GSLR, Greibner, Schmid, Leofrebinus and Ratzel, GSLR. So, what Ratzel told, if you remember, see, I made it very clearly. Foreman Gadanki, if it is visible here, Foreman Gadanki. The toughest school, one of the toughest school in anthropology is German diffusionism and American diffusionism. How I simplified it? Ratzel, Foreman Gadanki, what he told. Essential elements are present in 2 places. Anyhow, because of essentiality, they might be copying. But unessential elements are also present in 2 geographies. It means compulsory the diffusion happened. Essential and unessential, if both are present, it is called as Foreman Gadanki, which means culture has been diffused. It is the main factor of the Ratzel believed, not only Ratzel, the German school, the complete German school of anthropologists believed that migration is the sole reason for the diffusion. There might be some reason. British also, they believed migrations are the sole reasons, whereas Germans also believed that the migration is sole reason. But American school of diffusion is they believe that it is not because of migration the diffusion will happen, it is because of geographical proximity there diffusion will happen. So migration of people. The most famous book is Anthropogeography. Coming to Leofrebinus, most intelligent, according to me, the most intelligent or most enthusiast anthropologist for me is Leofrebinus. Why? Because what he told. He told today's culture is because of diffusion. But that diffusion happened from some invisible cultures. How? So he want to tell that today my culture is because of my history, by which he is advocating indirectly the historical particularism of Franz Boas. I am linking Leofrebinus with Franz Boas. So in my history what came, it became my culture. So in history what happened, that is my culture. But in my history, how the culture came? In my history, the culture came from some invisible places. And he took the example of Southeast Asia, Malayo-Negritic culture and West African culture. In West Africa, the huts, the clothing, the tools which were being present in the museums, and in the Malaysia as well as in Indonesia, the huts, the designs, the tools which were being present in Malaysia and Indonesia are same. Then he came to conclusion that museum means what are present in our history. So the things which are present in the history are present in today's museum. So that means it might be from Malayo-Negritic culture, the diffusion happened into the West Africa, or from West Africa, the migration happened to Malayo-Negritic culture. So by finding the dating, by dating methods, what is old, so that is a old culture from where it got. And from that we are coming to conclusion that if you want to genuinely know from where the culture has been moved, then it is by studying the invisible cultures. And that invisible cultures we can know by studying the museum collections. When you know the museum collections, then you will understand from where the culture got diffused. The beautiful concept he told, which is Leofrebinus, find invisible cultures, museum methodology or museum collections, more the number of tribes, more of diffusion, which is called criteria of quantity. Criteria of quantity and quality is given by Greibner. He is told pre-medieval cultures. There will be some Urkulturen, which is called as pre-medieval culture, early man cultures. So there are 6 early mans, Urkulturen, early man culture, pre-medieval cultures which are called as pre-medieval culture attained. Then again 4 major circles according to Schmid. In this way, mind maps are made. For example, we will go for Malinovisky. When I go for Malinovisky, if you see Malinovisky, main theme, famous for discussing about needs, culture to satisfy human needs. People follow culture till it satisfied needs. If not, culture will degenerate. He did fieldwork and written ethnographies. He is very famous for participant observation method. His concept of culture, he mainly bothered about inheritance. Culture is a complex whole of material, non-material objects, but however it will be inherited from one generation to another generation. But that inheritance is not biological inheritance, but the inheritance is social inheritance. Definition. Theory of functionalism. It told integrationalism, dualistic form of functionalism and monistic form of functionalism. Theory of needs means If you do quickly, theory of law, civil law, criminal law, kinship studies, utility based, magic, religion, myth, social change, and the most important is economic anthropology, in which he discussed about Kularing, Vasi system, Urigumpu system. So all the schools will be made in concise format in the form of mind maps and will be provided to you. I am planning in the same way to make the mind maps to link with every topic, where we have to use functionalism in paper 2, where we have to use structural functionalism in paper 2, where we have to use culture, personality, school in paper 2. In that way, the linking of the mind maps will also be made very quickly to you. In this way, you have to do this. And one more thing, I think it is not visible to you, but however, just understand how to make the summary notes, how to make the revision notes also. I will be giving the guidelines and I will be checking how the summary notes need to be made. In this way, anthropological thought will be discussed and mainly with linking. In this, I will be focusing mainly about thinker. Number 2, his contributions. Number 3, where to link it, where I have to use this person. So for that I will give you one template. The template is for any question on anthropological thought, use this template. First, intro, anthropologist, his concept, in which book, and what he want to explain, introduction. The next, basic premise. Then basic premise. For example, Malinowski want to tell that culture main function is satisfaction of the individual needs. If the individual needs are satisfied, then the culture will perform. The culture will grow. And if that culture is not performing its duty, the culture will degenerate. Hence, main purpose of culture is survival. So, if survival is guaranteed, then the culture will evolve. Basic premises. After basic premise, contribution. This is called as body of the answer. Body of the answer. Contribution. Body of the answer. Then next, link with example. Link with example. Kinship algebra, he told, whereby we will be maintaining the relatives only those who are helping in us in our contemporary. So linkage. Fifth, contemporary link with the theory. And finally, conclusion. For every theory, apart from your mind map, in mind map you will understand the theory. Then you have to make this template, which is intro, which is basic premise, which is contributions, which is nothing but body of the answer, which is link with the examples, linkage with which topic I have to link. So fifth, contemporary, whether we can link this theory or not, and sixth is conclusion. If this template is present with every theory in your anthropological thought, your subject will be completed. This is for anthropological thought. And in that way, all the schools will be discussed. For all the schools, the mind maps will be provided. Classical evolutionism, historical particularism, diffusionism, functionalism, structuralism, culture personality school, neo-evolutionism, symbolic and interpretative theories, cognitive theories, postmodernism. Then language. In 2023, there is a question called as Gotto chronology. What is this Gotto chronology? So from that, I will tell you. Whenever you are reading the question, I request you to read in Hindi also. Why? Because there will be question in Hindi and English. So when such sort of questions are asked, I know you might be having minimum knowledge on Hindi, but still you read it. For Gotto chronology, in down it is very clearly written, Bhasha Kramena. Means what? Bhasha chronology. Oh, the question is asking about the language chronology, evolution of language. So in that way, you have to use your common sense, number one. Number two, so this type of topics I will be discussing in this particular language unit. So this is just a value addition of anthropology. So quickly I will be doing the revision as well as value addition of the anthropology will be doing. Sapir-Whorf hypothesis, PYQ, biological evolution of language, cultural evolution of language, what is linguistic anthropology. These all topics will be covered in unit number 8 and mainly focusing on endangered languages. We will link with the paper 2. So bringing E.B. Taylor is the first person who studied about the language. Then Franz Boas is a person who discussed about protection of Indian languages in North America by documenting them. Then Malnovisky is a person, if you want to do the participant observation, you have to learn the local language. Then in that way, all evolution of languages we have to understand and how we have to going to save the language. For example, recently in Andaman Islands, Bo language. Andaman Islands, Bo tribal community, the last person who is speaking the Bo language died. Means what? Language got extinct. Language is a symbol of culture, means Bo culture got extinct. So nowadays, human beings also becoming extinct. For example, Bo language got extinct, Bo culture will be extinct, then the Bo people will be human beings also becoming extinct. So when we protect the language, at least we can protect the heritage of that particular community. In that way, we have to write the answer for unit number 7. And coming to unit number 8, it is about fieldwork tradition. Fieldwork traditions in anthropology. Henry Morgan is the first person who did fieldwork in Iroquois Indians, but it was non-participant observation. Then Franz Boas had advocated for fieldwork and he did fieldwork in Baffin Islands. Then Malnovisky, you know. Then structural functionalist, the R.C. Brown did field work in Andaman Islanders. Then culture personality school anthropologist who is Ruth Benedict, Margaret Mead, studied the different societies like Samoan Islands. Then Atil Kora Du Bois. Then structuralist Edmund Leach had studied Kachin and Shan population. So each and every anthropologist in the anthropological school, what are their field works? Fieldwork traditions in anthropology. Finally, we came to conclusion that postmodernism. In postmodernism, up to now, what are all the fieldworks and ethnographies were being written? All the ethnographies are subjective in nature. So, subjective nature of fieldworks are not necessary. We want objective nature of fieldworks. So, for that objective nature of fieldwork, what we have to do? Very slowly, we will discuss in the revision classes. You will be having 21 revision classes. Then paper 2 and unit 2. Then I will stop. Then I will go to paper 2, unit 2. Population studies. Ethnic population division. According to Risley classification, according to Hutton classification, according to Guha's classification, Grierson and Ruggieri's linguistic classification, and population studies, demographic studies we will be doing in unit number 2. Here I will focus on socio-economic caste census. What is socio-economic caste census? Whether we have to go with socio-economic caste census or not, and why the census is getting delayed. Why census 2011 and 2014? Census comes under which department? With that, I will also discuss about National Population Register, National Register for Citizens, and Citizenship Amendment Act, which are related to population. So, what are contemporary things with respect to population? I will be discussing in the classroom. What is the difference? NPR, NRC, and CAA. Anyhow, Guha's classification you can remember, Hutton's classification you can remember, Risley's classification you can remember, Grierson and Ruggieri's classification you can remember. Unit number 3, 3.1, it's about what? Traditional Hindu social system. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, Purusharthas, Varna, Rinas, Ashramas, these all things. Compulsory how to link in current affairs, I will be doing it. How to add in contemporary society, I will be doing it. So, not only how to remember Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, not only Devarina, Risharina, Pitrina, or so Rinas we will be discussing. Then Karma, what is Karma all about? What is Karma in Buddhism? What is Karma in Jainism? What is Karma in Hinduism? And 3.2 is about caste system. Caste definition is given by F.G. Bailey. And the most important topic in 3.2 is tribe caste continuum, which can be compared with folk urban continuum of R.C. Robert Redfield. Then theories of caste, theories of origin of caste, that is nothing but biological theories of caste, structural theory of caste, cultural theories of caste, Risley's theory of caste, composite theory of caste, how the theories of origin of caste happened. Then caste and Varna, future of caste system, dominant caste, Jajimani system, how to remember. Here we will use lot of anthropologist names and lot of examples. Quickly. 3.3 about nature, man, spirit complex and sacred complex. And 3.4 is about impact of Buddhism, Jainism, Islam and Christianity on Hindu social system. Contemporary example. How Christianity has impacted Hindu social system. How Buddhism has impacted Hindu social system. For example, I will tell you. When Ambedkar want to change his religion, he want to come out of Hindu social system, he want to come out of Hinduism. People asked him to convert into Christianity. Lot of influence came on him to convert into Christianity, but he didn't do. Why? Because it will become political. So he took Buddhism. and he called himself as Neo-Buddhism. Why? Because he very clearly told, I am not going to believe in Gautama Buddha, but I am going to believe in the teachings of Gautama Buddha. In that way, link how, so obviously what happened, lot of Hindus got converted into Buddhism, mainly in Maharashtra, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh. Then unit number 3. Then unit number 4 is most important. Growth of anthropology. Growth of anthropology. Growth of anthropology in India. Where? In India. For this, who are the anthropologists responsible for it? Who are the anthropologists who worked for it? So, British anthropologists, Hemmondorf, Verrier Elwin, F.G. Bailey. So, various anthropologists who contributed for the growth of Indian anthropology. Then American anthropology. Then American anthropologists like Hitchcock, like Robert Redfield, Robert Marriott, Melinda, several anthropologists, American anthropologists, Geethal Street, and mainly Indian anthropologists. In detail, how I will also, for this, I will make some mind maps and I will be giving it. Indian anthropologists like Sharat Chandra Roy, S.C. Roy, D.N. Majumdar, LP Vidyarthi, Nirmal Kumar Bose, so several M.N. Srinivas, Gurye, Iravati Karve, Madhumala Chattopadhyaya, till current, Subramanyam, the current anthropologists till 2024 who are Indian anthropologists who made the India famous in anthropology discipline. Each and every anthropologist will be discussed very, very quickly in this particular Indian anthropology. And how the anthropology has been evolved, formative, constructive, and analytical phases. These 3 phases, and who are the anthropologists who are present in these 3 phases will be discussed in this particular. Then paper 2, unit number 5. This all how I am remembering in the same way. You should also remember the same way. Then you will be getting 280 and above. If your answer rating is good, obviously you will get 300 marks. So paper 2, unit number 5. 5.1 is all about Indian villages, Indian village study, significance of village study, impact of Panchayati Raj system and media on Indian villages, traditional and changing patterns of settlements in Indian society. 5.2 is about linguistic minorities and religious minorities. 5.3 is about Sanskritization, Westernization, modernization, interplay between the great tradition and little tradition. In contemporary context, we will be discussing it. Sanskritization में कौन सी anthropologist को remember करना पड़ेगा? M.N. Srinivas को. Westernization में M.N. Srinivas को. Modernization is not about Max Weber, we have to remember modernization. 5.2. 5.2 religious minorities, linguistic minorities. 5.1 is about village studies. 5.2 is about minorities. In these minorities we have religious minorities. This is compulsory, a question will be there, and other will be linguistic minorities. And third will be 5.3 is, unit name is called as social change. In social change, we have Sanskritization, Westernization, modernization, interplay between great tradition and little tradition. Great tradition and little tradition. How to remember? I will focus on how to remember. I will focus on how to understand. I will focus on how to reciprocate or how to reproduce in the examination hall very quickly. So, if you come into this particular rapid revision program of anthropology, if you just do some revision and if you come now, you will remember like anything. This is about unit number 5. Then it is unit number 6, 6.1. 6.1 is about tribe. Tribe. Who are tribe? What is ethnic classification of tribe? What is linguistic classification of tribe? What are social economical classification of Indian tribes? This all will be studied in 6.1. 6.2 is about tribal problems. 6.2 is about tribal problems, which is land alienation, health and malnutrition, and poverty and indebtedness, employment and unemployment, underemployment, health and nutrition. So, mainly it is in 6.3 we will be discussing, which is called as resettlement and rehabilitation issues of tribal communities. So, in this way, with current examples, not only in India, across the world, I made some examples. Those examples will be given to you in 6.1, 6.2 and 6.3. Tribal classification, tribal problems. And then 7.1. In 7.1 we have tribe. Like PBTGs, various varieties of tribes who are present, and in 7.2 we have impact of modern democratic institutions on tribal communities, and 7.3 is mainly about ethnicity. ethnicity problems, how tribals are facing the problem with ethnicity. Here I will focus on Manipur issue. So how the ethnicity and Manipur issue in Rwanda, there is a conflict between the Hutsis and Tutsis based upon the ethnicity. This is all 7.1, 7.2 with practical and real examples we will be doing here. And coming to unit 8, which is 8.1, which is called as tribe, nation, state. Tribe, nation, state. What is tribe? What is nation? What is state? And current, every tribe will be working like a nation. And they want a political and administrative unification. If some majority power or mainstream is taking away their power, how they revolted. That comparison in Russia, India, United States of America, Africa, we will be comparing as well as China. And coming to 8.2, 8.2 is about impact of Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianity, Islam on tribal societies. On ट्राइबल सोसाइटीज, हिंदुइज्म से ट्राइबल सोसाइटी कैसा इम्पैक्ट हुआ, बुद्धिज्म से ट्राइबल एग्जाम्पल के साथ, और क्रिश्चियनिटी के से कैसे ट्राइबल सोसाइटीज इम्पैक्ट हुआ, और इस्लाम से कैसा ट्राइबल सोसाइटीज इम्पैक्ट हुआ, विद एग्जाम्पल्स, विद प्रैक्टिकल रियल एग्जाम्पल्स वी विल बी डिस्कसिंग हियर इन 8.2. Then coming to 9.1. 9.1 is all about what are the 5-year plans, which 5-year plans, policies, programs and further development of tribes. Role of NGO in tribal development. So tribal development issues are present in 9.1. In 9.2 it is about how anthropology will be helpful in tribal development, and rural development, and I will be adding one more concept which is called as in policy making. In 9.3, that is regionalism, secessionism, ethnic conflicts, communalism. 9.3, 9.1, 9.2 and 9.3. So first, I chose socio-cultural anthropology for your ease. Then we went for anthropological thought for the content. And then we came for Indian society to apply. And then we went for tribal India, so the tribal is heart of anthropology. Then I will go for paper 1 and paper 2. Paper 1 and paper 2. Introduction of Anthropology and Evolution of Man. In this, I will be discussing in paper 1, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, 1.6. In paper 2, I will be discussing about 1.2 only. Why? Because 1.1 and 1.3 comes under archaeology. So here, unit 1, I will be discussing Introduction of Anthropology and Evolution of Man. Meaning, scope and relevance of anthropology, different branches of anthropology, and how the anthropology is related with humanities, arts, sociology, etc. 1.4 is about evolution of man, pre-Darwinian, post-Darwinian, synthetic theory of evolution, as well as Gauss law, Rolle's law, several parallelism, convergence, mosaic evolution. 1.4. 1.5 is a primatology, primates. 1.6 is Australopithecus, Homo erectus, Neanderthal, Homo sapiens, Rhodesian man, Homo habilis. So how to remember all these things? What are all the maps we have to make? What are all the diagrams we have to make? I will be doing the quick revision. And coming to 1.2, it is about Ramapithecus, Shivapithecus and Narmada man, whether evolution of man in India happened or not. So I will be linking evolution of man in India with evolution of man in the world. So both I will be linking and I will be discussing in this particular session. And then paper 1, Unit 1, Archaeology in World. Students will neglect archaeology, but you should not neglect archaeology. In paper 1, 1.8a, 1.8b, in detail we will discuss. In paper 2, 1.1.3 we will be discussing. So 1.8 is all about dating methods, relative dating method, absolute dating method, and 1.8b is all about Paleolithic, lower, middle, upper, Mesolithic, Neolithic, Chalcolithic, Iron Age, Copper, Bronze Age, linked with world, linked with India. Then in 1.3 we will discuss about ethnoarchaeology, culture parallels, culture survivals in Indian context. In this way, one day is for evolution of man in India and another day I will be discussing about archaeology. In that way, your complete revision will be done for evolution of man in India, introduction of anthropology as well as archaeology in India. And then we will go for physical anthropology. In physical anthropology 1.7, very clearly I will explain you what is cell, what is protein synthesis, cell DNA replication as well as DNA division. In this way, we will be discussing about 1.7, mainly cell division I will be focusing. Quickly I will be making you to remember mitosis and meiosis. Then in 9.1, we will discuss about pedigree analysis, biochemical methods, immunological methods, cytogenetic method, karyotype analysis we will be discussing with the twin method, quotient method and foster child method, how to remember. This is science, so very quickly you can do. 9.2 is about Mendelian genetics, single factor Mendelian genetics and multiple factors Mendelian genetics, as well as lethal genes, sublethal genes and conditional lethal genes we will be discussing, as well as polygenetic inheritance in man also we will be discussing. And coming to 9.3, here we will be understanding genetic polymorphism, Mendelian population, Hardy-Weinberg law which is called as mathematical formula, and changes and causes which bring down the frequency, mutation, selection, genetic drift. These all things we will be discussing, as well as the genetical changes which are happening because of consanguineous marriages and non-consanguineous marriages, with practical examples we will be discussing in 9.3. And coming to 9.4, we will discuss about sexual chromosomal aberrations as well as autosomal chromosomal aberrations with examples: Down syndrome, Patau syndrome, Cry-Du-Chat, as well as super male, super female, what is Turner syndrome, Klinefelter syndrome, and genetic imprinting, human DNA profiling, current affairs with respect to genetics I will be explaining you, like biotechnology. Biotechnology current affairs I will be covering here, like 3-parent baby I will be doing, CRISPR-Cas9 I will be discussing, so that current affairs also will not be missed in your rapid revision. Those who are writing mains, mainly it will be helpful for mains goers 2024. And 9.5, race and racism. 9.6 is all about genetic. 9.7 is about ecological anthropology, and 9.0 is about epidemiological anthropology. 9.5, I will link race and racism with casteism in India. I will link race and racism with casteism in India, how the race has evolved, whether race is a hereditary concept or environmental concept. I will also discuss about UNESCO's declaration on racism, as well as linking racism with casteism examples we will be doing. Why? Because California made a law. United States of America, California state made a law that is, if any person or any company or any community are degrading any person based upon the caste, then it is a criminal offense in California. So caste was been recognized as a social evil in California also. Then 9.6, it is about genetic markers. We will be discussing about ABO blood groups. We will be discussing about transference. We will be discussing about GM blood enzymes. We will be discussing about G6PD enzymes. We will be discussing about respiratory functions. We will be discussing about sensory perceptions. These all things we will be discussing with practical examples and real facts. Then 9.7, we discuss about ecological anthropology in hot climate, in cold climate, in high altitudes with examples. Then in 9.8, epidemiological anthropology, infectious, non-infectious. With that, we will be also discussing about COVID-related malnutrition, genetic diseases we will be highlighting in 9.8. So example oriented, mainly the topics like epidemiological transition I will be focusing here, ecological anthropology focusing here, and unit number 10, 11 together I will be doing. 10th is about human growth and development. What are all the factors which are responsible for human growth and development, like genetical factors, environmental factors, hormonal factors. So what are all the factors which are responsible for growth and development? Human physics and somatotypes we will be discussing. And 11th unit I will be discussing about population, menstrual cycles, menarche, menopause, and demographic theories, social demographic theories, economical demographic theories. Any new observations came or new studies came with respect to demography and population will be discussed in this unit number 11. And finally, unit number 12, which is unit number 12, applications of anthropology, focusing on cananthropometry, application of anthropology on sports, nutritional anthropology, applications of anthropology on the nutrition, applications of anthropology on paternity diagnosis, on criminal cases, on genetic counseling, on forensic anthropology, on biochemicals, on serogenetics and cytogenetics. In this way, complete applications of anthropology in 20. Now, today, any new applications came for which I will be working and I will be delivering the lecture to you. In that way, you will be completing your completed revision. So, this particular issues will be discussed from PYQ's point of view, syllabus point of view, and new studies which are happening across the anthropology discipline. These all things will be done. And I'm ensuring that as I'm completing my final thesis of my PhD for anthropology, I'm also doing my own observations, my own studies with anthropology. So those which are exam oriented are there. I will be delivering lectures on the same in these rapid revision classes.